The never-ending waves of a pandemic, the Russia-Ukraine war, Sino-Indian tensions that refuse to die down, a simmering Sino-American conflict, a conflict over Taiwan Straits, Hong Kong and Tibet, the Sri Lankan economic crisis, and Pakistan on the verge of a bankruptcy, and a not so serious slump hitting our immediate neighbor. For most of our leaders, that's the proverbial land of milk and honey. For these crop of leaders, for this crop of leaders, it is the ultimate tirtha or the pilgrimage of democracy and human rights. And in our very own country, an economy in a shambles, a huge scandal, a scandal involving a five-party government under the leadership of the Nepali Congress. When did this scandal come to the fore? It came it came to the surface during preparations of the fiscal budget for the fiscal year 2079-2080 Bikram Sambat. What's more, respite for a finance minister involved in adjusting tax rates to benefit a firm considered quite close to the corridors of power in Nepal. Apparently, we live in a country in such glorious times, such times when government themselves have been working literally day in and day out to institutionalize corruption. All these and many more developments were taking a huge toll on the mind, the body, and the soul. For me, all these things meant one thing, that it was the time to return to the woods once again. It was the time to walk all alone amidst the crowd, time to numb my limbs and return home, tired to the bone. At Pasupatinath, smoke was billowing from the funeral pyres as usual. The message from the pyres was loud and clear. But then who has the time to lend an ear? Who among the makers of our collective destinies has the will, who has the will to end all wars and live in peace? But it's not only the Homo sapiens and their nations that are almost always at war with each other. Clans of monkeys also love war, it appears. Does it have anything to do with all the junk that we provide them? Just a thought. I mean, synthetic juice, noodles, biscuits, fruits produced through selective breeding and whatnot. Just across a small bridge by the Pasupati Arighat, that is the open crematorium at Pasupatinath, and just a few steps northwards, monkeys, young, middle aged, and old, healthy as well as diseased ones, were going about their usual business, foraging for food, playing, doing a quickie or two, fighting with rival clans, all came in a day's work. Walking along those woods all alone amidst a crowd is pure joy. Watching the simians go about their chores, their daily chores, You forget your own problems. How these creatures show love towards each other, how they cuddle each other, how they huddle around each other, how superb their acrobatic skills, how comfortably they sit on those fences with piercing projections, those fences built perhaps to provide a sanctuary to the antelopes, and how even those little things negotiate those treacherous railings with ease, and how fiercely they defend their little nations against invaders. Very moving moments come, they come once in a while. Your heart bleeds upon seeing a mom monkey trying hard to protect her little one. Just she is trying hard to protect her kids during interclan clashes and ferocious fights with dogs, of course. Watching these creatures go about their daily chores can also be an effective way to manage stress. My personal experience suggests that all this, minus those moving moments, helps you achieve a state of mind that helps you think and write. An hours long wandering afford both heartwarming and heart wrenching scenes. Those frolicking monkeys playing in the urban jungle with utter abandon was quite refreshing. Seeing those young kids fighting, sniffing dendrite was unnerving. It pointed that even the woods of these modern times were atrophying. Returning home, I found the world atrophying further. After its hasty retreat from Afghanistan following a 20-year military presence in a war-torn Afghanistan, the United States was preparing to intensify. It appeared that it was preparing to intensify engagements in the Asia Pacific region, putting an end to Sino-Russian celebrations over the American pullout from Afghanistan. Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, was on a visit to Taiwan. This despite objections from Beijing. This crucial visit, which came roughly 20 years after the Taiwan visit of fellow Speaker Newt Gingrich, was further escalating Sino-US tensions. What does New Delhi think about this visit that seems to undermine Beijing's claims over Taiwan, though Washington has indicated it has pointed that there has been no policy departure vis-a-vis uh, US relations with China. Does it think that this American move is a blow befitting its arch rival, that is China, with which it is engaged in this standoff in northern territories, including Arunachal Pradesh? Is the American move vis-a-vis Taiwan ringing alarm bells in Delhi? With the steady rise of both China and India in recent years, our policy wonks, national and international policy wonks, have been talking about the Asian century. Our forefathers surely heard the rallying cry of Asia for Asians that was during the Second World War. Has the slogan materialized? Some of our excellent minds have been weaving dreams of national progress and prosperity based on the neighbor's rise. This despite the fact that Nepal has been witnessing a steady decline despite the rise of the two neighbors, that is China and India. Perhaps geopolitics is to blame for this sorry state of affairs in Nepal. The lack of our institutional capacity is also to blame, perhaps. Interestingly, while preparing for this presentation for hours on end, I heard mortar shells from a firing range nearby. What does the latest American move vis-a-vis Taiwan indicate? What does it mean for a country under the rule of a corruption plagued, unstable, and a rogue regime donning the garb of democracy? Does America's Taiwan move point that the Asian century, the much promised Asian century, is closer than thought? Or does it point that the waters of the Asia Pacific will get choppier and choppier in the days to come? With these questions, I wrap up this edition of Soft Talk. This is our small effort to promote citizen journalism, a kind of journalism that is free from powerful vested interests. We ask you to subscribe to this channel, provide your valuable and insightful comments, and like our presentations if they really touch your hearts and minds. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.